we are going to continue on with our Alexander Calder mobile. So we've made all our colors, we've gotten all of that. We learned about primary and secondary, what happens when all the colors are mixed together. We did our favorite. Now we're going to use our scissors and we're going to cut these individual rectangles out. So you have to go get those scissors and then just go through and cut these individual colors out. Notice I'm not cutting around the edge of the actual color. I'm cutting on those crease lines. That's what you want to do, is cut on the crease line. So work on that. So I've gotten all of mine cut out. Don't put your scissors away because we're going to need those again. What we're going to be doing is we're going to actually take each of these individual pieces and we're going to make it become a part of a bigger sculpture. So we're going to actually make mobiles like you saw in the video. We're going to take our individual paper and we're going to fold it in half. Now I'm folding it so the color is on the inside. You don't have to do it this way. This is just the way I'm doing it. Then on here, I'm going to use my pencil and I'm going to draw a shape that is easy for me to cut out. Your shape is going to be different than my shape. So I've got my first one done. This one, I might fold it a different way. I might fold it where the paint color is out. And then I'm going to draw my shape on here. Notice that this shape is nice and big. I did not draw it tiny in the middle. The only problem drawing on the color side is that you can't really erase on the colored side. If I make a mistake on the white side, then I can erase on this side. So those are the positives and negatives of each. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to finish folding. Now that I've gotten all of those done, and take my scissors and I'm going to start cutting these out. I'm going to do the best I can to stay on the pencil line. When you get it, you're going to have two that match. We're going to be using it so we'll have a front and a back, just like that. So go through and start cutting your stuff when you're done drawing it. I'm going to work on mine. All your trash, of course, that needs to go in the trash can. You will then go get a glue stick. You will also have 5 pieces of string. I know, right now you're thinking, wait a minute, Ms. Lopez, we've got 8 shapes and only 5 pieces of string. That don't make any sense. Well, the thing is that you're going to have to make some tough decisions with your string, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So you're going to take the glue stick, you're going to separate your shapes. You can see how I've got one facing with the white up and one with the color up. You'll take your glue stick and you're going to put a bunch of glue, not a little bit, but a bunch. You have those messy mats on the table so that the glue will not get all over the table. And then you will take one of the strings and you're going to lay that string on that shape, whichever way you want it to dangle down from the mobile. If you want it to be sideways, then you put that string this way. I want mine to be really long and coming down. So I'm going to put the string there. I grab my other part of the shape and I put it one on top of the other and I'm going to hold it just like this for about 10 to 20 seconds in. I'm going to count in my head. So I'm just counting. when it's been that long, I'm going to continue to let it dry. I'm not going to hold it up by the string just yet, so I just kind of set that one way off to the side there. And I continue doing that with my other strings. So you're going to have to make some tough choices because not all of the strings are going to need to be the same length. So I know that I want to have some pieces a little bit shorter than the other. So I'm going to cut 2 of these. If I had 4 strings and I cut one of them in half to make 2, how many strings do I have left? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 that are different lengths. Think about it. I've already used 1 string. I've got all of these shapes left. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shapes left. So there's a lot of math involved with this. So you can do something like this. You can match up the strings with the shapes and figure out which ones you want to have longer strings with and which ones you want to have shorter strings with. You can cut the ones that you have already done, but you don't want to make them too short, so there's a lot of thinking involved. So this one, I know that I want to cut it about in half, so I can use it for another one, and I might do that with this one that's here, and instead of it being half, it's a little, one's a little shorter and one's a little longer. So now I've gotten strings for all of them. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to continue to do what I did on this one. So I've gotten all of my strings on and I'm ready to move on to my next step, which is to make what my shapes are actually going to hang from. So you can see the bars here. That's what we're going to call it, so the mobile bars. And what it is made out of are pipe cleaners. You'll get 2 pipe cleaners. I'm going to move my shapes off and out of the way so that I have plenty of space for you to see what I'm doing. So my 2 pipe cleaners, one of them I need to make a loop. So I'm going to use my finger or my thumb, doesn't matter which, and I'm going to figure out where the middle of the pipe cleaner, so not too much on either side, about halfway in between, and I'm going to loop around. So again, that was just take the end and curve it around. So I can slide my thumb out. Then you can see when you look at it from the side, it's made a loop. You're going to hold the loop and just turn it like it turned a key. This locks that in place where it's not going to move. You can see I hold it. Now I've got a spot for a string to hold it, just like on my other one. There's a string that's going to hold it up. The other pipe cleaner you're going to take, oops, and you're going to find close to where the middle is. You're going to take that and you're going to loop it around. So I just curve it. So I take the other part of it and I'm going to go the other direction. So we've got 4 pieces, one going each direction. This can be a little tricky, but I know for sure you are going to figure it out. The most important thing is we want it to be attached together so it's not going to fall apart. You can curve the ends if you would like, so you can bend the ends, but you don't want to bend them so much that you don't have a lot of space to be able to attach your actual shapes. Now comes the fun part, which is to attach these shapes onto here. You can do it a couple different ways. One is you can tie on, which can sometimes be a little hard, but not super hard. So you tie it around one time and pull. That's going to attach it so it doesn't come off. Think about Calder's mobiles. They had to have something called balance. So if I put one over here, what's going to happen to the other side is going to pop up. And I'll show you what that means in just a second. So I'm going to attach another one on. Okay, so you can see I've got mine attached. You can see this one is really long. The middle loop, I've added a string on just like I did with yours. Now, of course, yours is going to be taped to the edge of the table, so it's going to hang down and you can work on your balance. But you have to look at it. If it is really heavy on this side because it's going down and this side is lighter, then I need to help to make it have balance. So that means that I have to kind of think it through. What could I add to this side to help it out? So I'm going to add another one over here on this side. So I'm going to make one knot, then I'm going to pick it up and see what happens. Oh, so now this side's really heavy, so I've got to kind of think it through of putting another one in another spot. So there's a lot of what we refer to as engineering. You have to make a plan, you have to test it, see how it works. Just like Calder was an engineer and he, all right, used it to help do his mobiles. So now I've got a little bit more balance in it. So I might add another one on this part right there, and I just play with it until I get my shapes on and I get balance all the way around. You got to make some changes sometimes. You got to bend. Oh, now I've made one side a little too heavy. So there's a lot of thought, and luckily yours is hanging from the table, so you won't have to put yours down every single time that we do this. I think it's looking so cool. So I've got to add a few more on here. So I've got 2 more shapes left, and I'm going to work to see where I'm going to put them. But I want you to get started on making your Alexander Calder mobile. Not model, mobile.